Hey, Dr. Jessica Houston, founder of expectingvictory.com. I got a question, and that question is, how do you handle frustration? How do you handle frustration? I asked that question because frustration is a part of the journey. It's a part of our life's journey. We're all going to experience some level of frustration in our lives. And so when you think about frustration, like what is it? It is basically an emotional response to not getting the results you want. Oh my goodness. It is an emotional response to not getting the results that you want. And so when you don't get what you want, how do you handle it? Do you become explosive? Do you become angry? Do you retreat? Do you get depressed? Do you get anxious? Like, what is your response? And if you can't think of what your response is off the top of your head, then that is your assignment. You really need to know how you respond because your response is going to impact your results. Oh my goodness. Are y'all hearing me? Your response to your frustration determines what kind of results you end up getting. Now, what happens is a lot of people think that the initial results are final, but they aren't. You get to determine how your story ends. That's up to you. So if you get upset because you missed the mark and you give up, that's on you. You could go for it again. You could leverage your pain. You could leverage your frustration. You could leverage your disappointment. Or you can say to yourself, this must be a sign that I'm heading in the right direction, or this confirms that I'm not good enough. And so you got to be careful about what you say to yourself about yourself. Like you can't be defeated just because you've hit a rough patch, just because you've gotten rejection after rejection. Like that's a part of the process. And let me say this, even when you get what it is that you want, there's going to be some frustration attached to that too. So there's really no way around this thing. You got to learn how to manage it. You got to learn how to stick it through. You got to learn how to be consistent when you don't feel like it. You've got to learn how to be disciplined when you don't feel like it. You've got to learn how to take a rejection, a disappointment, a frustration, and then process it. Like, what happened? Where did I miss the mark? And then figure out, okay, how can I come at this better the next time? How can I ensure that I don't encounter the same challenge? I might encounter a challenge. I might encounter a frustration, but it won't be the same one. Right? And so you got to leverage what you know. You got to leverage your experiences, leverage your past mistakes. Like, don't be afraid to make a mistake. That's okay. The issue is making a mistake and then attaching that to your identity. Oh, God. Making a mistake and then attaching that to who you are as a person. You are not your environment. You are not your mistakes. Like, you are not the condition that you're in right now, right? You're not the circumstances that you got to be able to separate that. Like you might be experiencing homelessness or a financial burden, but that's not who you are. You're still brilliant. You're still capable. You're capable of figuring this out. You're capable of problem solving. We all got some level of chatter to fight through and break through. But those who ultimately get what it is that they want, they're not easily shaken. They're not so easy to back down. They're going to fight for what it is that they say they want. So there were seasons where I was applying for positions, and I would be applying for hundreds of positions and getting email after email saying, unfortunately, you were not selected for the interview. Unfortunately, we've already um, selected someone for this position, but we'll keep you in mind. Like me as a speaker, pitching myself over and over again, people not even responding. People not even responding to me, right? And I gotta figure out, how do I keep going after that? Or me going after a major contract and not getting it. Like, how do I keep going after that? I keep going after it because I know that that desire in my heart is real. Because I know that there is more for me. And I understand that the road might get difficult at some point. But if I refuse to give up, oh my God, there is no stopping me. I understand that my frustration is calling me to a higher level of thinking, to a higher level of behaving, to a higher level of emotional intelligence. And so today I want to challenge you to leverage your frustration. Do not allow it to get the best of you. Allow it to make you better. Allow it to increase your hunger. Allow it to give you the energy that you need to keep going. If you gotta listen to motivational videos throughout your day, like, you do what you need to do to pick yourself up every time you fall. Like, the worst thing you can do, oh my goodness, the worst thing you can do is fall down and stay down. You got to be determined to get back up. You got to be determined to hit your goals. You got to be determined to become a better version of you. You are not placed on this earth to be average. And so I want to encourage you to not settle for average. There is more for you. You just got to be willing to go after it. If you feel like you've been stuck for a long time, if you feel like you've been going in circles and you feel like, I need someone to walk me through this, reach out to me, DM me. I'll be happy to serve as your coach. I'll be happy to support you. I'll be happy to give you the strategies that I've learned over the last 15 years, right? But even in that, you've got to do the work. I can support you, but as Jim Rohn says, I cannot do your push-ups for you. I can give you the information. I can encourage you. I can show you how to build your confidence. I can show you how to live a life of abundance. I can show you how to get out of a pit, how to pull yourself up. I can show you that. But you've got to be willing to do the work. And you've got to be willing to rewrite your story, to rewrite your script. You can't just think, oh, well, I've always done it this way. Or you can't have this mindset that everything is hard for me. You gotta change all of that. So if your identity is not saying that you're bold, that you're confident, that you're capable, that you're brilliant, like, if your identity is not speaking that, it's time to make some changes. So let this be the year. Let this be the year that you do something different, right? You don't want to keep getting the same results that you've already gotten, that you've always gotten. You want to create a life that you didn't even think was possible for you. You want your mind blown. Oh my goodness. I'd be like, God, I want some mind blowing miracles to take place in my life, just like they have in the past. But it required my belief and it required effort on my part. Do the work, leverage your frustration, and you'll begin to see miracles begin to unfold. Doors will begin to open, opportunities will begin to fall in your lap. Why? Because you're doing the work and you're believing in you. You're believing that it's possible. You can't achieve anything beyond your belief level. So just work on that. Like, okay, I know I said a lot, right? But if you can just work on your level of belief in yourself, oh God, you're going to see some major changes begin to happen in your life. Until next time, take care.